Good afternoon, everyone. You are all at the live webinar, Live Landing Page Critiques with usability expert Michel Sharritt, which is myself. I am the co-founder and VP here at Situated Research, which is a company located in Chicago where we conduct usability research and testing. Today we're going to talk about navigation structure and website organization. We're also going to talk about color psychology, graphics, font size, color, and headings. We're also going to talk about your website copy. Is your website too wordy? Are the pages too long where users are having to scroll through each page of your site? We'll also talk about social media integration and SEO, or search engine optimization. And lastly, we'll talk about page layout and page structure. So our team here at Situated Research has actually written the playbook on usability for website design. We've conducted over 5,000 website reviews in the last 6 years. All websites have issues or concerns when it comes to usability. And the reason for this is that a lot of companies decide to build websites on their own, hire their own web design team, or hire it out to a company. And the reason why they have issues is because usability was never involved within the design process while building the site. So today you're going to learn what we're talking about when we talk about, is your website user-friendly? What does that mean? And how to make your site user-friendly. Here at Situated Research, we have a free usability report where we go over 20 different areas of usability. And our sister company, QCamp, designs the websites, rebuilds websites, and we also do social media analytics. So our free report includes an analysis, again, of over 20 unique areas of usability on your particular website. There's a summary of your branding and overall marketing effectiveness. You also get an analysis of your website's menu navigation structure and ease of use. And at the end, you get a final grade with action items to improve your website's effectiveness. So why do we do this? We do this free report because it gives people room for improvement. All of these improvements can help retain customers, build trust, and boost your overall sales. So we've done live reviews. We've actually done this webinar a few times before, and these are just a few of the companies that we've done live critiques for on this webinar. But if you want your website reviewed and you didn't make the list today, just send me an email at info@situatedresearch.com and we can go ahead and put together a review for you. Right now, our reviews are video based, meaning we'll send you an actual video of your critique. And we'll go over a few areas of the different 20 usability areas that we go over in the report. And we'll pick a few and we'll send you that video, and then we can go ahead and set up a discussion about it to answer any questions that you might have and to go over some other areas of usability. So in the past, we've done Standard Market, which is a grocery store here in Chicago. Cisco, everyone's heard of. We've also done Lagunitas Brewing Company. We've done Wayfair, and we've also done a local salon here in the area. So today we want to go through, we have I think about 8 sites picked. So we're just going to spend this hour going through our free usability report and looking at the websites that were chosen for today's session. So let me go ahead and change out my screen here so we can get going. Okay, so you're going to see on the left part of my screen is where the website's actually going to be live in a browser. And on the right-hand side, we actually have our report that we will be going through. So in our report, we give you an introduction as to who we are and why we do this free report. We also show that Dr. Sharritt has a PhD, and he has contributed by drawing upon his advanced background in computer interface usability, communication, and information sciences, while I have drawn on my background of behavioral psychology to construct the findings of this report. Before we get started, there are some free tools that you can use to check on your website's usability. First, there's validator.w3.org. Now, this site's going to check to see if your website has any programming errors, any coding errors that might cause your website to display improperly for some of your site's visitors. So if a user's on a PC using Internet Explorer, the website might look differently than someone who's on a Mac using Safari. So that's a quick free tool. You can go on the internet, just put in the URL to your website, and that will come up. And we'll do that for the first one. Glen Prairie is a local restaurant here in Chicago, and they wanted us to review their website today. So let's try it out. Let's go to validator.w3.org. We put in the website's URL and we check for coding errors. Now what's going to happen is this is going to generate a report, and it's going to show us all of the programming errors. So on this particular website there are only 7 errors. They tell us what the errors are and also how to fix them. So that's our free report for you to try out on your own. The next free tool that we have is www.marketing.grader.com. And this is brought to you through a company called HubSpot, which most of you are familiar with. This will show you how well you rank on the search engines with tips on improving your score and search engine ranking. It will also go through your social media analytics a bit with you. So let's go ahead and try that out. So we'll go to marketing.grader.com. You can see it's brought to you through HubSpot. We'll go ahead and put in the URL, and then we'll go ahead and put in our email address. And we'll say grade me. So this takes a few seconds to do that. So it's going to go through the Glen Prairie restaurant's website, and it's going to actually grade the site. It's going to go through SEO, so search engine optimization, some ways to help your ranking on search engines. And it's also going to go ahead and show us about social media, SEO, lead generation, etc., etc. Okay, so it's still grading us. See how it's going through our blog, through Glen Prairie's blog, through their social media, SEO. So if we wanted some more information on SEO, it would take us through, tell us each item that it graded, what our grade was, and it would give us some insight onto how to get our search ranking higher than what it is. We can go to social media, and it'll also give us the scores as well. So these are 2 free tools that you can use right now to check on your website's usability and see if there's any programming errors. So here is the 3rd page of our report, and this takes you through the 20 different areas of usability that we grade. When we grade, we use the Likert scale, where it's a 5-point scale where we grade from 1 to 5, with 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest. And then your result is a final grade on your website's overall usability. We've categorized this into 2 categories. We've categorized some sections into user experience and some into heuristics. Under user experience, we're looking for clear essence of business, so we can clearly go to the website and know exactly what their business is all about. We can look at color psychology and see, okay, the colors on this website go great with the company's logo, go great with the branding, or it doesn't make sense. We can look at the aesthetics of the site design. We can look to see if the website's enjoyable and fun to use. Now, the way that we run our reports is we actually have users test your website. So they go through these different 20 areas of usability and give us their feedback. So it's just random people on the internet who would be typical users coming to your site. So they can tell us, yeah, this was enjoyable to use, it was fun, or oh my gosh, it was very boring, not very entertaining at all. Under user experience, we also look for wordiness. So we kind of touched upon that at the beginning under when we talked about the topics that would be discussed today. So we actually look at the content on your website to say, okay, you have too much content, or you tend to repeat yourself to fill up real estate on pages, and we'll talk about that. Once we're looking at your content, we'll see if it's motivating and if it gives a powerful message. We'll also look at your site to see if it encourages communication through social media and contact us pages. We'll look for consistency from page to page to make sure that the design does not change. And we'll look at the ease in locating typical information such as contact information, blogs, and services. Now under heuristics, we will look at functional design. So we'll actually look at the wireframe of your site. We'll see where items are placed. Do they make sense? A video at your header, does that make sense? Your blog, is it located in a place that makes sense? We'll look at your navigation. We'll look at the labeling of your menu navigation. Is it short, sweet, to the point? Do we understand what each menu item does when we click on it? We'll also look to make sure that your website follows web standards, such as making hyperlinks blue and underlined. We'll also look to make sure that your font size is readable and that the color selected is correct as well. We'll look at grammar to make sure there are no grammatical errors, and style. We'll look at your contact information to make sure that it's always available to the user. We'll look at flexibility and efficiency of the website. We'll look at minimalist design, and we'll look at help and documentation in case someone gets lost on your site. So by going through these 20 different areas on a scale from 1 to 5, you can get a maximum score of 100. So let's go ahead and start analyzing some of these websites. So as I said, the first website that we're going to look at today is a local restaurant called Glen Prairie. They like to do farm to table. So thank you for attending today, and congratulations on being chosen to have your website critiqued. So the first thing that we do on the websites is we go ahead and, of course, we bring up the site and we look at the home page. And we kind of scroll around, click around, whatever we need to do to just kind of get a feel of the page and see what's going on. So I'm scrolling now, and I see a bunch of posts, I guess tweets. So these are all the tweets. Okay, so I could keep scrolling here and get all the tweets ever done for the Glen Prairie tweet page, or I can use the main scroller and scroll to the bottom of the main page. This is very confusing. This actually, I'm just going to point it out right away. It's not one of the areas that we're looking at right now, but this is very confusing with all the scrolling. So I can scroll, as you can see, or I can go in here. Oops, see, I clicked. And I want to go to their Twitter page. And I'm scrolling within the page. Scrolling within the page is not a good idea because it just makes the page confusing. Not only that, but you have way too much information here. Nobody's going to be on your homepage scrolling through every tweet that Glen Prairie ever did on their Twitter page. It's not going to happen. And then you have all of this happening up here where these images are changing as well. And it doesn't make any sense. So you just saw an I there in this box. What does that mean? Chicago's best doesn't even fit in the box. Love has, I don't know, something around it. These images aren't very clear. What? This just doesn't make any sense. Brunch, I guess I can go there for brunch is what that means. I don't know. Are these clickable? No. Oh, well, that was clickable. Okay, that's just confusing. So I can scroll to the bottom of the page and I can see contact information. I can see some awards that they've won, which is kind of cool. Okay, so I can go back up to the top of the page. I see their menu navigation, their social media outlets. I can reserve a table. So there we go with that. So The first criteria that we see here on our report is, does your website clearly indicate the nature of your business and its products? So this is where we look at the homepage to see if we know exactly what this company is all about. So this site does a good job of saying local flavor, fine food and drink, local ingredients provided by the contemporary American farmer. So it doesn't, when you go to the restaurant, you know that it's farm to table, but the homepage doesn't really convey that. So that's something that I would say, just because I've eaten there, this is your main focus, your main point, you need to have it on the homepage. Another thing that we're looking at is, simply put, does each color, does it have psychology and emotions associated with it? So when we're looking at this criteria here, we're looking at the company's logo and the colors you use. So we say like a brown and a green. So for dirt and grass, I'm thinking. So do the colors go? Well, yeah, I mean, this is a picture of the inside of the restaurant. If you scroll down, you can see the table, so it's brown. It goes, if we click on a page, okay, these colors don't go. And we open up a PDF with the menu. Let's look at another page. Okay, so on the home page, the colors go, when you're within the site, no, here we have inside scrolling again, not something that you want to do. We have photos and images, some videos. Okay, we have our contact page, and we have more. Okay. Okay, so there's a lot going on here, just because I know the report by heart I could go through right now, but we're going to stick to the report, so we'll go ahead and do that. So we would give them probably a 2 out of 5, just saying that, yeah, your homepage matches, your logo looks great, but when you're in internal pages, that needs to be fixed and looked at. The next criteria is aesthetics, so referring to the creativity of the design and the flow of the site. Does it look nice? Does it flow? With things like this just doesn't even go with the design, so I would give them a 1 out of 5 for this. The next criteria says it pays close attention to the psychology of using the site. So for this particular site that we did here, the users felt very overwhelmed on the pages where they had to scroll through a lot of information. So this is a report for a different site, but you can see that a lot of people get confused, and especially when you have to scroll within a page. So we've got that issue on the home page, and there was another page as well where we had that issue. Was it events, specials? Yes, specials. So here we had some scrolling again. So that would be confusing to the user. Okay. I want to save some of these for the other sites that we want to look at. So I'm going to actually just do a live critique here of this site, since we did choose you. So again, the inside scrolling needs to be fixed. The menu navigation makes sense, except for here where we have more. And then we have about, rewards, blog. And you know, there's a different way to do this. First of all, and there's a criterion here that we'll go over, you only want a handful of main menu buttons. So here we have 7, and then we have 3 submenus here. But these can get lost on the page, and what does more mean? And we have a link for Thanksgiving. I know you're trying to get your eye to Thanksgiving because the holiday is coming up, but maybe under menu, put Thanksgiving, because that's supposed to give you the Thanksgiving menu. So that should be under menu. Events and specials could be under something like news. Photos could be its own thing. Contact us, and then you could have about, rewards, blog. So that's how we would do the menu navigation for this site. Okay, let's just make sure that all the links work. Okay, so you have social media integrated, which is great. And all the links work, so we check for that as well. Contact us page. We can go ahead and reserve a table if we wish. Okay, and then just making sure that the contact information is at the bottom of every page, which it is. That's great. So really my main concerns with this site are the fact that some pages will open you up into a new browser window, and also the scrolling really needs to get fixed, and the main menu navigation. Okay, so thank you, Glen Prairie, for attending today and allowing us to review your website. This webinar is being recorded, so you did consent to letting us put the video recording up, so that will be up later on today so that you can go ahead and review that. You will also be receiving your own video of your usability analysis, so we'll go through the entire report on the video and we'll be sending that to you. So thank you so much. Okay, so the next site that we have is Sullivan's Steakhouse. This is also a local restaurant here actually in Naperville. And so we're going to go ahead and just kind of look at it. Aesthetically, it looks great. We have our social media outlets. We have some menu navigation down here. We have menu navigation up here. Doesn't seem to be any sub-menus. Okay, which is good. So very simple and to the point. We have a scroll box here with aesthetically pleasing imagery. So that looks great. So let's go ahead and look at some more criteria. We want to see, does the website have the fun factor or is it boring? For this particular site, you know, and this can all be your perspective, but boring sites could have a lack of color, too much text, or might lack an interesting theme for the content. So this website was done very nicely. I really like this. There might be someone who would do the review and say, I don't like it because this is scrolling across, changes too fast, yada yada. But for this particular criteria as far as usability goes, this website's very aesthetically pleasing, so it's fun to use. The next criteria is, do pages run vertically with text and content? Is it paragraph after paragraph? So this is kind of getting to that wordiness that we talked about with your content. So the home page doesn't do that. When we click internal pages, let's see, click Lincolnshire, make a reservation. Okay, not wordy. The menu should just be the menu. You can click. And that will probably come up in, okay, actually comes up in the browser window, so that's kind of cool. Doesn't come up as a PDF. So with the Glen Prairie site that we were just at, it came up as a PDF and opened up a separate browser window. Bad usability. This is great usability here, where you actually have everything coming up in a window and nothing opens up into a separate window. This is great. We've got our drink menu. We've got some promotions going on. So very clean, very simple. We have some events. We have private dining. Okay, we can view some details here for private dining. So very simple to the point. This website's not wordy at all. This is done great, actually. Okay, so the next thing is, depending on the nature of your website and your target end users, the message you present should accomplish a goal. So you shouldn't just have a bunch of fluff on your site. This goes along with wordiness. A lot of people like to repeat themselves on each page of the site over and over again, but just rewording it so that they fill up real estate and their website looks bigger than it is. Obviously, the site doesn't do that. If you click on locations, you've got locations. You click on menu, you're getting the menu. There isn't anything wordy here. However, is there a powerful message anywhere? Make your reservation is a very powerful message. You're wanting them to do this. It's a call to action. If we click on promotions, and we actually click a promotion, you can view promotion, and again, make a reservation. It's clear, it's big, it's right there. Reserve now is there as well. Great calls to action. This is done very nicely. Our next criteria is talking about communication. So this criterion is very heavily contingent on the nature of your website, and it aims to examine the degree of freedom and creativity given to your site's users. So can they creatively participate and interact with you through your website, or is interaction simply one way? So can you contact? Well, making a reservation, you are actually involved and participating within the website. So this is done very simply, very easily. If I want to contact them, I can click Contact Us, and I can fill out a form and I can contact them. That's very easy. So we would probably give them a score of 5 out of 5, but we would also need to have to go through marketing.grader.com to see exactly how they score. So let's actually do that. We'll go ahead and put that in just to see how they score. So again, we'll go to marketing.grader.com. We'll put in their URL. We'll put in our email. And we'll hit grade me. So this will just take a few seconds. So in our report, we actually put the score that they get on marketing.grader.com. So as soon as that score comes up, we'll be able to go through it. So SullivanSteakhouse.com gets an overall score out of 100 by looking at blogging, social media, search engine optimization, lead generation, and is the site mobile. And they received a 52 out of 100. So they would most likely get a 3 out of 5 on our report. We can go through blogging and we can say, okay, you have a blog. You don't have a blog. You need to set up a blog, and this is why. You need to set up an RSS feed, and this is why. You need to link your blog to your homepage. This is why, etc., etc. So we can go through and see that. So because they don't have a blog at all, they're scoring a 0 out of 6. If we go to social media, they're scoring a 2 out of 3. Set up a Twitter account. Apparently, they don't have a Twitter account, so let's go ahead and well, here it says that they do have a Twitter account. So I'm wondering why. Yeah, I wonder why they got a low score here. It's not picking up their Twitter account. So that's something that we would need to look at. And there's also other areas as well. We've got SEO. We have lead generation. How are they generating leads? And their mobile optimization for their site. Does their website look and feel the same on a mobile version? So we can go ahead and see the view of the mobile site on a phone. We can also rotate the preview as well if we wanted to do that. So great. So we would give them a 3 out of 5 for the score. We'll go ahead and close that. We'll go back to the site. So now we're going to review another website. This Sullivan Steakhouse was done very, very well. We really enjoyed reviewing it. And we will go ahead again and send you folks a video of the entire report and us going through your entire website so they can get a better handle on your overall usability. But pretty good job, guys. Really good job. So the next site that we're going to look at are the folks at Solemn Oath Brewery, which is also a local company here in Chicago. They brew some really good beer. So of course, because it's alcohol related, they ask if you're over 21, so we'll click yes. and we're brought to their website. So we've already gone over some areas of usability. So we're going to quickly, with the remaining websites, because it is 2:30, I'm going to quickly go through those areas and then touch upon some new ones. So we look at, is the website aesthetically pleasing? And so we look at the logo, and it's simply black and white, very simple. So they're very safe with their logo. The website goes great with the branding. The text matches the logo's text. Everything's pretty simple and to the point and makes sense. There's a little bit of overlap, and you guys can't see it. Maybe you can see it. With these boxes here, where it says news, and then man versus internet is over the word news. Punk rock for rich is over the word news, I believe. Founders and radicals is over the word, I'm not sure what the word is, founders or something. So it looks a little confusing. So that I would say fix. Same thing with a very solemn experience is over the word news. So something's going on with the coding. And actually, I'd be curious here to see. So I'm going to go to validator.w3.org. I'm going to put in their URL, and I bet we see some programming errors, because that would explain that overlap there. If your website has no programming errors at all, the word past will come up in green, and that's great, because that means your website's looking and working correctly in every web browser. So we can see here there's a whole slew of issues with the home page. So there's some programming errors that need to be looked at, and that's what's causing these problems. So looking at the menu navigation, we have many menu options. I don't see any sub-menus, which is good. So information is going to get lost, which we'll go through in just a moment. We have our social media outlets here. And then at the very bottom, we should have a way to contact solemn oath. So we have contact and social media buttons. But what we should have too at the bottom of every page is the contact information. So a phone number, email address, mailing address at the bottom of every page. So just having a contact menu option to go back to the contact page is not enough, or having the social media buttons is not enough. Okay, and it looks aesthetically pleasing. I mean, it's a brewery website. This middle part is a little confusing. But let's see what this does real fast. Man versus internet. I'm not sure what that is. I'd have to read on that. I'm guessing this would be about our founders. Okay, so this is like a blog post. Okay, so let's go ahead and look through some more criteria. So we're looking at consistency now from page to page. So does the look and feel of the site remain consistent from page to page? Meaning some websites you go to and you have the main menu navigation at the very top of the page. And if you go to an internal page, the main menu navigation will go to the left-hand side of the page. Okay, you've gone to many sites where that's happened. And that's a big no-no, because then the user has to reorient themselves. They have to say, okay, well, the main menu navigation isn't up here anymore, where to go? And this seems really crazy, and that people don't think this, but they do. And if they had to keep reorienting themselves from page to page, they're going to leave eventually, is what research has shown. So we go to the About page. This menu navigation should stay at the top. Logo should stay in the same consistent spot, and every page should look like this, divided up like this. Okay. Okay. We'll go to one more internal page, and then I have a point to make about wordiness. So we'll go to beer. So the same layout for this page should be the same as the About Us page, and it's not. So our beer has a little box for each beer, the listings of the beers. Okay, so it changes. If we go to tap room, let's see what happens. Now tap room looks again like the About page. If we go to events, it should look the same as the about page and the taproom page because that's staying consistent and it's going back to the beer page with the boxes. Okay, if we go to SOB stories, Solemn Oath Brewery stories, the orientation changes again. So we really need to stay consistent, guys. See, they would get a 1 out of 5 for this because this isn't staying consistent. But I do want to go to the About Us page and go back to a criteria that we talked about on the Sullivan's page about wordiness. And this is very wordy. Scrolling, 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 scrolling. Now we have our staff, our people who make this happen. That's great to have. But we're still scrolling, scrolling. Nobody's going to scroll through all of this information. And if they do, once they get to the bottom, they want some contact information. So this page needs to get broken up, which means if you want to talk about the brewery, that's great. You want to tell your story, there's a different way to do this so it's not so darn wordy. And then with everybody who's on your staff, under About Us, here in the menu navigation, you should have a submenu that says Team. And I can click on it. If I want to see the team, I can do that. Or Our Story. And if I want to read the story, I can go to it. But here I want to learn about the brewery, and I have all of this to scroll through, and people simply are not going to scroll through this. So this is way too much information. So going back to the report, our next criteria is looking for ease in locating typical information. So is there a Contact Us button at the top of the page in our main menu navigation? No. You can get our newsletter and you can follow us on social media outlets, but there's no Contact Us button. I have to scroll all the way through this to get here. And then to contact them, it's going to open up my email, and that's how I have to do it. So not good. So we want Contact Us menu option up at the top. Other information that we're looking at is About Us. We want to learn about this business, so that is at the top, so that's great. That contact information is something that we want to see at the top. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our next website. So again, Solemn Oath, thank you so much for allowing us to critique your site. Again, you will receive a video today going over the 20 different areas of usability and your critique, and then we can go ahead and set up a time to talk if you have any questions. But thank you for allowing us to do that. So our next site that we're going to look at is Naperville Running Company. So right away, we can see that, okay, I can tell right away that this site was made for mobile and not for your desktop. Reason being is because the menu navigations has the bars like this. It's a mobile navigation. And if we did this, I'm just curious, out of curiosity, we're going to go to Marketing Grader and just see what it looks like on a mobile site, because I want to see. It should look the same. Let it give us our overall score so that you guys can see your score. Again, this just takes a few seconds. There we go. So your overall marketing score is a 56 out of 100. Let's go ahead and go to mobile. And I want to see how your site looks on a mobile device. It's taking a few seconds to pull up here. Okay, so I'm going to pull it up. There we go. Okay, So this is how the website looks on a mobile device. Oh, I can't scroll or do anything. Okay. So it doesn't come up properly. So that's something for you guys to know, is that your mobile version, although it is there, it's not programmed correctly. Okay. So we have some slideshow action going on here. Okay. It says we love running, latest news, upcoming events. These are highlighted, so I'm guessing I could click on them, and of course I can. Okay. We have our contact information. Okay. One area that we haven't gone over yet is text, color, font size, font size and color type. So here, this red is very harsh. See, if it was white like the rest of the text, it would be clearer to read. This obviously was something that was going on recently. We had a marathon that was happening over the weekend, so they wanted that to stand out. Another color would have been better, or bigger font size. So we have our contact information. Okay. So our menu navigation, home, news, shop. You can do some shopping. Okay, so see, I would think that I would be able to click here and there would be submenus. Otherwise, why are these arrows here? And actually, I was clicking on these other menu options. Oh, there we go. Now they're working. Okay. So the menu navigation is kind of hard to get around. And it's not visible when you're on the page. So if you didn't know that these three bars meant this is where your menu navigation is, you would not know. And here, there are no submenus, so these arrows need to go away. So I'm guessing that there are programming errors as well. So let's go to validator.w3.org and let's see, because if we looked at the mobile version did not display correctly, and sure enough, there are a ton of programming errors. Okay, and those need to be fixed, otherwise, again, website's not going to display or work correctly in different browsers. So we'll go ahead and close this. Okay, it's not allowing me to do anything. Okay. So let's go ahead and look at the next criteria. So a wireframe is a blueprint for a web page. So where are things laid out? So is your blueprint organized in a logical way which makes sense to your end users? Have you grouped information into logical groups or chunks of information so it's easy to find and digest? So we have our home page, talking about sports bras, okay. Okay, let's go to an internal page. Let's go to news. Okay, right away you can see that this website, the display and the orientation of the page and everything changes from the home page. So this is an internal page. If we go to another internal page, it should be set up the same way. So let's go ahead. And again, it is. So going back to some criteria that we talked about earlier, where we talked about, is the website aesthetically pleasing? Is it boring or fun to use? Unfortunately, guys, at Naperville Running Company, this site's a little boring to use. Content, copy on a white background with no imagery is pretty boring to use. So, you could spruce up these pages by putting some sort of background watermark image. That would be better than just having text on a white background. And going back to the layout or the blueprint of the pages, it looks like a blog, to be completely honest with you. It does not look like a website. Do you guys have a blog? Okay, you guys don't even have a blog. So, yeah, the whole website's acting as a blog. So I'm guessing this is something that I normally would not do during this webinar, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to view the backend code of this site and do a Control F and just look for the word blog. Blog list entries. So this website, it's not a website, it's actually a blog, which is why it displays the way that it displays. So that was just a side trick just because I'm looking at this site and I just wanted to see. But this website, Naperville Running Company, was not built as a website. It's built on a blog platform, which could explain many things, especially the website not displaying correctly on a mobile version. And actually, I think you guys talk about this here. Oh, your app. You're talking about your app. Okay. So the blueprint of the site. Okay. I would say that the main menu structure needs to be looked at. Again, now knowing that the site is built off of a blog platform, this needs to be a desktop version of your site, and then you need to have a mobile version of your site. Looking at this next criteria, we're looking at the main menu navigation. So how many items are in your main menu navigation? Are these menu items easily distinguishable, not requiring a lot of thought to choose one? Are there too many items or too few? So we want to make sure that in our main menu, we have anywhere from 4 to 6 main menu options. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 menu options. Now the reason why we don't want to have more than 6, and ideally between 4 and 6, is that if you give your users too many menu options, what's going to end up happening is they are going to get lost and confused. You're going to give them too many options. So news and resources and events and races should all be under one category. About Us should be its own category, Shop should be its own category, Gallery, and Contact Us. That would limit us. So that would condense news, resources, races, and events into one. So then we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's better. Home we really don't need, so we could get rid of that. So we would have the 6 that we need. The other thing is the submenus. Now this site alludes to the fact that we have submenus, but we don't. So these arrows need to go away. Okay? So because you don't have between 4 and 6, you get a score of 1 for this criteria. Okay? So let's go ahead and look at the next website. So thank you, Naperville Running Company, for allowing us to critique your site today. Again, you will also receive a video of the entire critique going over the 20 different areas of usability. And hopefully we can assist you in making a mobile site as well as a desktop version of your website so that it stays consistent. So the next site that I want to look at is Hotel Colorado. Hotel Colorado is a very beautiful resorty hotel in Colorado. They are a client of ours here at Situated Research and QCamp, and they've allowed us to review the new look and feel of their new website. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So we will go ahead and look at how clearly, so we're looking for clear, distinct labeling this time. So we're looking at the menu navigation. So we have Explore the Hotel, Area Attractions, Group Events, Package Offerings. We have a lot of submenus. So we talked about just 2 seconds ago about main menu navigation, having between 4 to 6 main menu navigation items. So this one has 4, right? Or maybe it has more. Let's see. 2, 4, it has 5. Okay. So that's fine. Between 4 to 6 is great. So, but submenus, you don't want your submenus to be too deep. So you have to think of your main menu main menu navigation as being wide, so you don't want it too wide, and you don't want it too deep, because all of this information is going to get lost within the website. Although all of this information is important, there's a way to go through your site navigation to make it clear to your users and to make sure that information doesn't get lost and is categorized correctly. So exploring the hotel, maybe say about the hotel or about us. And then directions should be under our contact us main menu navigation. Room and suites might be under book a room now or book or something like that. There's different ways to put this information in that makes sense where you're not too deep, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 labels deep, 7 pages deep, because remember, each of these are pages. This one's 4, this one's 4, this one's 8. So there's a way to do this. Also, with websites, you want to have a site map. So this website actually does have a site map because we've actually done this free report for them before, and they've added the site map in, and so you can see exactly what their site map looks like. So each page of the site has a link, and so this is great and helpful for people who use the web all the time, and they go to a website like this where there's a lot of information and they don't want to scroll through pages, so they'll just quickly look for the site map and then go to the page that they want. So I want to look at rooms, so I'm going to go to accommodations, and now I can look at rooms. Okay, a site map also usually is given to the search engines like Google to help with your SEO score, to do organic searches. It really helps to categorize each page of your site, and with clear, distinct labeling, Google is able to pull your site up whenever these words are searched for, which is great as well. Another criteria that we look at is to make sure that your website follows web standards. So we talked about hyperlinks being colored blue. You know, certain things you're able to click on either by hovering over them or they're underlined colored in blue. For this particular site, they do not follow web standards. They're kind of going off of the design of their site. So just because their logo is white and this greenish color, they've done that as well for their hyperlinks. So they would get a 1 out of 5 just because they do not follow web standards. We know these are hyperlinks because they're underlined, and when we hover over them, the line goes away. Typical hyperlink behavior, but they're not blue and underlined. So they would get a 1 out of 5. Another criteria that we look at is the readability of the font size and color. We have to really know who the user is that comes to your site. So one time we had an elderly retirement community come to us to look at their site, and we actually redesigned it where if you were elderly, you could increase the font size, and if you were a son or daughter of an elderly person looking at this place to put your elderly family member to have them live there at the community, you could decrease the font size. So we knew the user behavior. We knew that we'd have elderly folks looking at the site. We knew that we would have younger folks looking at it. So we accommodated for that. But there's some sites like this, Hotel Colorado, where you're going to get an array of people. And because this is a high-end hotel, you're probably going to get people, I think we looked at it, and it was people between the ages of 35 and 65. And so we accommodated that font size and gave them the critique that they needed to change their font size to a more medium font size that made sense to users. And we also changed the font style as well. We also look at grammar to make sure that there are no errors, typos, poor grammar, and they always do a nice job at Hotel Colorado. So nothing that we would need to worry about there. So it looks like that they've taken on a lot of the points that we talked about when we did our free report with them. However, the menu navigation is something that we would still want to really look at. It looks like an information architect needs to come in and just make this a little simpler, clean it up a bit. So thank you, Hotel Colorado, for letting us critique your site today. It's 2:52 here in Chicago. We have a couple more sites to look at. I'm not sure that we're going to get through all of them. I think that we're going to get through one more. So Glancer Magazine and Downtown Naperville, I'm sorry. We didn't get a chance to get to yours, but you will still receive a video with your critique so that you'll have that. So let's go ahead and go through Fresh Time real quickly. Fresh Time is a new market here in Chicago that we're very excited about. It's sort of a farmer's market. So let's go ahead and look at the next criteria. So we're looking at contact information always being available. So does your site give standard contact information in a consistent location, such as the page footer on every page of the site? So again here, their menu navigation is hidden. Oh wow, okay. So we're gonna look at the contact information, but always when that occurs, something else pops up. Here in the menu navigation, to have these things just pop up just by me scrolling on them, do you see what happened? I'm just scrolling over the menu, and so I scrolled over About and I get News, which is fine. I'm trying to get down to Contact, and I can't get to Contact. Now I'm not clicking on anything. I'm just scrolling, just moving my mouse down, and okay, so what I have to do is I have to scroll down, okay, and then move my mouse up to get to Contact. So that's a little bit frustrating for users. Seems very minimalist, like nobody would care about that, but users do. So we have our Contact button. I can contact them, fill out a form. If we go to the bottom, the footer of the page, is there a way to contact them? I can sign up for their newsletter, but there isn't a way to do that on the home page. If I go to an internal page, let's just go to News. Okay, so it's the same on every page. So you guys need to put something at the bottom of your page where people can contact you. That should always be there, especially on pages where you have to scroll down, like that news page we were just on. Once people get to the bottom, if they get to the bottom, because remember, users don't typically scroll on the internet, they'll leave the site if they don't find what they're looking for. There should be contact information here. Now, if I wanted to contact them and I just went through this entire page and I got to the bottom, I have to go all the way back up to the top of the page. And I see the social media outlets, but I don't see a Contact Us button. So I have to remember, oh yeah, if I click on here, here's the menu. Go to, oh, I'm doing this again. So the site's very frustrating in that regard. We'll go back to the home page. We'll look at flexibility and efficiency. So what path or user journey must your users take to find the information relevant to them? So is there only one path to find the sought after information? If so, is it logical? How many steps does it take? So this really is concerning when you have people purchasing things on your website. So when you have a shopping cart situation and it takes a user 10 clicks to order something, that's frustrating. If it takes 4 to 5 clicks, that's more manageable. So for this site, we're really just looking at learning about this market. There really isn't any shopping that you can do on here. So, okay, so we might have a task where we say, okay, to the user, find the local ads for the week. Find the local ad. So they might come to the website like this. They might scroll through, and they might be confused by everything that's going on in here and have to read each box. And at this point, our users would be like, I stopped the task because I couldn't figure it out, and the homepage was very confusing. There was too many boxes with information. I did not know where to look. And you can see here that these boxes overlap some of the content in this box at times. This lady's head's cut off by this. this information's cut off by this board as well, so things don't line up. And I betcha if we went to validator.w3.org to look at the programming errors, there would be programming errors on the home page. So we'll just check that out real quickly. So you can see that there are. And that would account for these things overlapping and not looking correctly. So we're looking for the weekly ad. So I might go to the menu navigation. I see about, department, savings, stores, careers, contact. I think it would be under savings. So again, I'm having this issue. Oh, there we go. So I was right. So even though it didn't take a bunch of clicks to find that information, it took a bunch of time. And what is this? I have no idea. Okay, jump to. This is interesting as well. This box just showed up. Okay. Again, programming errors needs to be looked at. So user journeys really are for websites where you're shopping and having to go through that way. But yeah, this needs some work. Okay, so the next criteria is your website over the top in terms of the quantity of information it presents or its graphical presentation? So when we looked at Salem Oath's website, the About Us page, remember how we had to scroll and scroll through their story? They would get a 1 out of 5 here. For Fresh Time Market, we're looking at their information here, and they're not over the top except on the home page. With these different images going on and different things going in the different boxes, that can be confusing. So that would be overwhelming for users. And we would specifically say on your home page, you need to look at this. The last criteria that we look at is help and documentation. So if your users are on your site and they get lost, is there something that will assist them in finding the information that they are looking for? So again, a sitemap does a very good job of helping users because they can just go to the bottom, click sitemap, and be able to pull up the information that they want, like on the Hotel Colorado website. This site does not have a sitemap, so that's something that we would suggest. If we go to the menu, there's no help box, there's no search box, so we would suggest putting that into the site. Now, some bonus areas that we look to make sure that your website displays correctly on a mobile device. So we can we'll go to, usually what we do is we don't go to marketinggrader.com to do this criteria, to check this out. We usually just go use a mobile device, but since we are on the internet and I'm showing you, this would be the only way to do it. So we'll go ahead and see if their website looks correctly on a mobile device. So they'll go ahead and get their marketing score here. So Fresh Time's overall marketing score out of 100 is a 56. So we'll go ahead and see how their website looks on a mobile device. So they don't have a mobile version of the site, unfortunately. So that's something we would say you don't have a mobile version. This is how your website looks on a mobile device. And then we also look, another bonus section that's not included in your overall score, is we actually look at your SEO. So we look at page descriptions, we look at the title tags on your pages, we look at the keywords that are chosen, and we give you an overall SEO score. So we say your overall SEO score is very good, or it needs some work. And this is how search engines are actually finding you when people type in certain keywords, certain descriptions, certain phrases. So this is very, very important. And we go through exactly what page descriptions are, what keywords are for you so that you understand that criteria. And lastly, we give you your overall score out of 100. And again, we'll go through how many programming errors you had through validator.w3.org. We'll also give you your overall marketing score out of 100 from marketing.grader.com. Okay. So thank you very much, Fresh Time, for attending this afternoon and allowing us to critique your website as well. Again, you will also receive a video by the end of the day with your critique so that you have that. And I want to leave you all with our contact information. You can contact us today at info@situatedresearch.com or visit our website at situatedresearch.com. And if you'd like a free report of your site and we didn't get to yours, please just email us and we'll be more than happy to give you your own video of your critique. You can also contact us at 630-522-0855 and talk to one of our representatives about getting a free usability report. And if your website wasn't critiqued live today and you'd like it to be, or you know of someone who could use a live critique, we have another session of the same webinar going on November 16th at 2 p.m. So you can sign up for that on our website at situatedresearch.com. Thank you everyone for attending today and have a wonderful day.